This is my second time recording this video. I wasn't happy with the last one, and I think I can say what I said in about 10 or 12 minutes in a closer to 6. I'm Kunda. How are y'all doing? Today I want to talk about my experience with barefoot living and with the barefoot civil rights movement. So, I've always been of a bit of an activist bent. I considered myself a libertarian since my early teens. I started smoking weed in my pretty early teens as well, and those two things aren't completely unrelated. When the government presses down on you for something such bullshit as smoking weed, it kind of helps you to see the rest of it. But that being said, I wasn't a barefooter in my teen years. It wasn't until my very early 20s that I first realized that I actually liked going without shoes and really wanted to see if I could do it more often in my daily life. And clearly, I decided that it's not an unreasonable option. So, really, what changed? So, 2011 was kind of an interesting year. It was the first year I went to Evolve Festival. Probably there that I kind of, that's the point that I think I started barefooting. It was on a hill on a farm in Antigonish, Nova Scotia, and part of that hill was gravel, and they had vendors on each side of it. And I spent a lot of time going up and down that hill. It rained that weekend. My shoes got wet, uncomfortable. I got rid of them. It turned into a lifelong thing, clearly. But I also decided, hey, if I go barefoot more often, it's likely that my feet will condition themselves to my going barefoot more often. And they did. It was also the same year that the Occupy protests happened. Those uh, really actually inspired me to get involved in a lot of the things that I got involved in and am still involved in. But it also kind of encouraged me to look at barefooting through the more activist lens. And early on, when I had first just started barefooting, there were a lot of different Facebook groups that had people that live life without shoes to varying degrees. Those groups were surprising political in that there were people who wanted to push for more barefoot acceptance, and there were also people who just kind of wanted to hang around in a Facebook group with people who gave as little bit of a shit about shoes as they did and didn't want things to be political. So that kind of resulted in a schism. To my understanding, they still do their own thing, and there's also Barefoot is Legal, which also still does its own thing. And while I'm still a paid VIB member until, well, for another couple months anyway, there's a complicated situation there, which isn't what this video is about. But while I was involved in that Facebook group from the time it started, as far as I understand, up until the time I was forced to leave, I did a whole lot of barefoot advocacy, and like when they looked into barefoot, like to see if there were laws against being barefoot in any of the states and all the provinces, and encouraging people to do that in their own countries because the group is a little bit America centric. I took it on myself to look up my own and the neighboring provinces. I did a lot of barefoot outreach work whenever I had a problem with a business. I had mixed results from businesses realizing they had no obligation to exclude barefoot people from being customers, and they some of them totally cool. Like as soon as they realized they welcomed us in, kind of thing. Other businesses didn't care, they just didn't want us in there. And there were some that corporate was just like, yep, it's up to the manager. It's and there was even some weirder ones where like they were okay with one store, but the rest of the chain they wanted to have Barefoot exclusive rules. Like, things are odd. So I did most of my barefoot advocacy work in the mid 2010s. I've been in a little bit of a funk the last couple years, and due to a combination of factors, like when you've been going barefoot for almost a decade, you kind of figure out which businesses are cool and happy to take your money, and which businesses kind of you don't even want to bother supporting, especially if they've given you a really hard time in the past. So there's that factor. There's that while a lot of people in my life are supportive, either despite my barefoot lifestyle and expression or even happy about it, because I find it's actually had a very positive impact on my life. There, that's not everybody in my life. I do have people in my life who are kind of pretty negative about it as well. So while I'm having a bit of a hard time, both socially with adjusting to the new job I've been doing the past month or so, and also with figuring out what I ultimately want to end up doing and what kind of job that is where I could be barefoot all the time, which is kind of what the dream is. I still want to be making barefoot lifestyle content. I'm not planning on not being of the lifestyle anytime soon. Like, I'm still as barefooty as I've ever been. I've just not really been sending all the emails, corresponding with the businesses as much, that kind of thing. And I do want to be doing it. It's just I've got other things that I've had to prioritize. And hopefully I get those things in order so I can be doing as much barefoot stuff as I'd like to be doing. But yeah, if there's anything going on in my life related to my barefoot lifestyle or getting hassled about it, you guys will be the first to see it. I know it'll come off as either some hippie or some like modern pagan nonsense, but whether it's like the wooden surfaces in most of our houses or the more like the soft ceramic of a lot of the buildings that we go in, or the asphalt that the roads are paved with, I like feeling under my feet the same things that we've kind of done to the planet. It's kind of like a connection to the earth kind of thing. So that's about all I have to say for now about my barefoot lifestyle, my experiences with doing what little I've done with fighting for barefoot civil rights, my involvement with both the barefoot civil rights movement in general and Barefoot is Legal as an organization, though I didn't go into as much detail as I might do in a separate video completely about that topic. But yeah, if you have any questions about barefoot living in general or kind of my reasoning and why I do it, feel free to leave comments. If you want to leave critical comments saying that I should give it up and stop being a hippie and put some fucking shoes on, you're welcome to leave the comments. It's a futile endeavor, wasting your time and effort doing it, but I welcome you to leave the comment anyway. And yeah, I appreciate all the support. I appreciate your time, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good night.